Now, I want to say that all efforts of devolution are towards growth and also sustainable development, both in all the 47 counties. And that was part of the objectives of devolution as envisaged in our constitution. And therefore, when you look at the journey that we have come since 2013, across all the counties, there has been remarkable progress in terms of development and in terms of improving inclusivity. Now, we have not put as much effort towards ensuring equitable development as we have put towards growth. We realize now, with the experience that we have, that it's not possible to talk about sustainable development without talking about equitable development. A lot of effort has been put on certain aspects of development, such as gender mainstreaming, climate change, and others, but we have not put so much emphasis on equitable development. I appreciate the presentations that have been done here by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, in particular with regard to the mechanics behind the revenue sharing formula. And we have had a lot of discussion since 2013 about whether this formula is serving all counties equitably. And as has been alluded by members from Nairobi County has had reservations about this formula because indeed it's not serving us optimally. Because when you look at the per capita allocation to counties, you will notice that Nairobi receives less than a half of the per capita allocation for the national average. And we think that the Commission needs to look at issues such as the cost of service delivery across the counties. When you look at a county like Nairobi, which is 100% urbanized, then the investment needs for service delivery and even sustaining the level of development in these cities is not necessarily the same as may be in a rural county. So the Commission on Revenue Allocation needs to do further analysis on what does it cost a particular county to deliver on a particular function, and also take cognizance of some of the additional functions that some counties have over others. For example, Nairobi is the diplomatic seat of most the diplomatic community in Kenya. There is no other diplomatic center in Kenya. And the expectation on the management of the city is quite high. The bar is quite high. And among other things, the level of development that we inherited in 2013 was quite high, and it's not right. I know here we may differ with some school of thought. Some development economists think in this country that the best way of accelerating equity in Kenya is to slow down the counties that were much developed so that those that were marginalized for some time can catch up with them. We don't think so. We think that we need to sustain growth of the cities that were, or the counties that were ahead, as much as we must make efforts to ensure that we allocate adequate resources, build capacities for the others to be able also to accelerate their levels of development. Now, in the city of Nairobi, we have just concluded the implementation of the first generation county integrated development plan, which saw a number of milestones achieved. This includes issues of infrastructure, issues of trying to decongest the city where we have not made much success. However, it's much because most of the plans that we have not been actualized, largely because of resource constraints. But I want to say that remarkable progress has been made. And in coming up with the second generation CIDP, we had to do the end-term review of the first CIDP, which again, we have taken time to analyze the lessons and experiences that we garnered, and we have come up with 7 agenda for the next county integrated development plan. One of the things that we want to do now is to address exclusion of certain segments of the population from economic activity through legislation and other structural reforms that we must put in place. This would include residents who are in areas that are highly informal, that do not have adequate access as their counterparts in other areas. That includes what my sister observed from Kibra about there being no health facility to offer maternity services there. I want to say that since 2013, we have more than doubled the bed capacity of facilities across the city. That is public facilities that are able to offer maternity services. The challenge we have in some of the areas, in particular the areas of Langata, where we have the ward Kibra, where we have Lindi, Makina, Sarangombe, Woodley, and Lainsaba, is that it's not possible to be able to access public land in those areas where you can be able to do certain forms of development. So the strategy that we have put in place is to ensure that facilities that can be able to serve those areas are equipped and expanded so that we can be able to improve access. Issue number 2 that we are actually tackling is to address issues of income and social policies. We are putting in place income and social policies that are pro-poor. This is expected to give opportunities for those who are in the low-income groups to be able to also transit from hardcore poverty. We are trying to improve access to basic services of health and education. And I think, as you may be aware, Nairobi is among the first few counties that have declared early childhood education free in all public facilities, with a capitation program that is funded through our annual budget. Number 3, we are trying to target deliberately investments in areas that have been marginalized so that we can be able to bring down the cost of certain utilities, such as housing. And in this case, Nairobi is targeting to do 20,000 housing units in the medium term, and already we are beginning very soon with the Ngara housing project under the Urban Renewal and Housing Program. This is expected to produce low-cost but highly affordable housing, which are decent for Nairobians. Number 5 is the issue of strengthening governance, and this one, we are doing it through strengthening the structures of governance so that our institutions and office bearers can be held accountable to the public. This includes the issue of enhancing public participation. One of our residents here indicated that in the preparation of the CIDP, there wasn't adequate notice. Now, the CIDP for 2018-2022, we have had 3 rounds of public participation. The challenge we have had is that in certain areas, there is apathy in general for people to participate, but the opportunity has been there. And after even submitting this proposal to the county assembly, we have had it looked at, taken back to the public through the county assembly budget committee, and we have had to act on recommendations made. The only difference is that when we go to the public, there's an expectation that as government, we should go with a blank page and then ask the public, what do you want? What we have done is that we come to the public, having looked at the issues, because we also live in the city and we understand the city. So we do an analysis of the sectoral demands, what we need. And when we come to the citizens, even for the first time for them to give an input, we have what is called reports from the sector working groups. And I think that is what the citizens sometimes call that they came with a plan already. No, we came with a proposal which can shape the thinking and the engagement that we have with the public. But also, we have other institutions such as the County Budget and Economic Forum, which is very active in the city with representatives from various segments of the society that are supposed to provide a forum for engaging citizens on matters of planning, budgeting, and even implementation. And in the plans, which include the annual development plan and the CIDP, we offer ample opportunity for citizens themselves to monitor our programs. We have a program called Civic Education Program, which is being undertaken through our sub-county administration that is supposed, and we are working with civil society to ensure that our citizens are empowered with the capacity to be able to make meaningful contribution to our plans and budgets. It's clear that time is a resource, and I don't want to exploit it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.